There are albums that raise eyebrows, there are albums that turn heads, and then there are albums like I Don't Want to See You in Heaven, records that feel like seismic events. This isn't just a step up from the Callous Daoboys' iconic sophomore album of Celebrity Therapist, this is a creative pole vault over their own legacy, an evolutionary leap that shouldn't feel this natural, and yet here we are, witnessing a band become titans. Guys, gals, and non-binary pals, my name is Ian, this is Rhyme Signatures, and we are once again opening the lid on the best new releases in prog rock and metal.
This is I Don't Want to See You in Heaven by the Callous Daoboys.
Okay, so right off the bat, don't let the tongue-in-cheek name of the band lull you into any kind of false sense of security. The Callous Daoboys are here, and they are here to be taken pretty damn seriously. I mean, okay, sure, there's a certain element of cheekiness to their overall aesthetic. That's kind of hard to look past. I mean, for crying out loud, their debut EP was titled My Dixie Wrecked, you know. And we've had track names like Flip Flops at a Funeral, Beautiful Dude Missile, She Thinks My Tractor Beam is Sexy, and Save a Horse Ride, Ride a Daoboy. But the band have always let their music speak louder than their presentation. Now, I jumped on board with 2022's breakout sophomore album of Celebrity Therapist, and it was one of my favourite albums of the year, and it included what I still consider to be the best song of 2022 in the form of Star Baby. Its anarchic mathcore freneticism that segued into saxophone-driven stadium rock has cemented its position as one of my most listened to songs of all time according to my last FM stats. So obviously I was very excited to see where the Callous Daoboys were going to go next. Now, I assumed that we were going to get another adrenaline shot of pure chaos with wild instrumentation and savage vocal delivery leading the charge. And yes, we have that, but I Don't Want to See You in Heaven is so much more than everything else that's come before it. Up until this point, Celebrity Therapist was their longest album at 37 minutes long. It communicated a band who were all about short, sharp, vicious delivery, but this new one clocks in at just under an hour and closes off with a two-part, nearly 15-minute long epic that challenges the preconceived notions as to what this band is capable of and paints a vivid and exciting picture as to where they are going to go from here. This album is, frankly, extraordinary, not because it chases grandeur, but because it embodies it. It is feral and refined, silly and sacred, chaotic and composed. The Callous Daoboys have always been good at juggling extremes, but now they're making these extremes dance. Okay, so because it's me, I'm obviously going to be looking favourably at anything which dresses itself up in prog rock colours, and I Don't Want to See You in Heaven is unarguably the proggiest that the band has ever been. Straight off the bat, we are assured this is a concept album, and it's quite a unique one at that. Presented as a museum piece from some 300 years in the future, the album is displayed as an exhibit of the unknown artists of the Callous Daoboys. 10 pieces plus the final lost piece of country song in reverse, which the band acknowledges within the narration of the album as being something to really prepare yourself for, and they are not kidding around when they deliberately warn you about this one. There's a 2.5-minute long interlude to set you up for the subsequent 12-minute epic that somehow never manages to buckle under its own ambition. It's a labyrinth of sound, equal parts breakdown, musical theatre, noise rock, and post-rock catharsis. It opens like a funeral dirge with Björk-esque atmospherics before it passes through guitar-drenched apocalypses, throwing in an auto-tune-enriched pop breakdown, and it finishes with an ending that is so anthemic and so crushing that it made me bawl my eyes out the first time I heard it. This song is not a closer for the album, it's an exorcism, a victory lap, and a thesis statement all rolled into one. But that is just one highlight on the album. The true magic lies in the record's midsection, a perfectly sequenced 6-song stretch leading from Two-Headed Trout up until Idiot Temptation Force. That has no skips, no fluff, just absolute fire. The aforementioned two-headed Trout begins the onslaught with bombastic flair, marrying power chord violence with pop-punk swagger. It's kind of like a car crash being scored by a marching band. The anarchic shriek of the guitars sets the tone, with Carson Pace's fantastic, fully matured vocals guiding you on a pathway somewhere between Fall Out Boy and Converge. Tears on Lambo Leather is a big highlight for me. The guest vocals from Orthodox's Adam Easterling are absolutely brutal and do a great job of making me want to snap my neck muscles with how hard I want to headbang to this. There's a certain sense of sleaze and melodrama about the song that I find utterly intoxicating. It kind of flirts with kitsch at times, but then just melts it into pure gold. There's this moment around 2.5 minutes in where it sort of slides from like 600% aggression into music that wouldn't sound entirely out of place as background music in Steven Universe. Now, under lesser hands, this could be jarring, but the Callous Daoboys just make it work. Lemon slows things down at just the right time. It's this beautiful indie pop rock song, perfectly placed on the album to bring your heart rate down, and it features some of the catchiest moments on the entire album with a chorus that'll have you reaching for a classic Coke. Body Horror for Birds follows up, and it's this kind of weird lounge jazz smoothness that threw a complete curveball at me. Now, I never expected the Daoboys to try this kind of music out, but after the complete switcheroo that was Lemon, perhaps we should have been expecting this. But we don't hang around in this softer side for that long though, as the demon of unreality, limping like a dog, is pure chaos, building tension like a progressive metal opera gone full goblin mode. The instrumentation duels like anime rivals, while the band flexes every songwriting muscle it has, and I frankly cannot wait to catch this one live and have everyone in the audience barking like a dog alongside Carson towards the end. Idiot Temptation Force throws out one of the catchiest vocal hooks right at the start, and again, it's going to be an experience being in the crowd, having everyone yell ugga boo boo ugga at the same time as one another. This is one of the most unapologetically aggressive songs on the album, on a record that is chock full of music to dislocate your neck to. But again, as this is the Daoboys flirting with style and genre switch-ups, there's this incredible moment around halfway through where the chaos sort of filters right past you, the horns and brass instrumentation come in, and we get a sexy little dance number that wouldn't feel entirely out of place on mainstream radio. Now, I've not forgotten about the songs Schizophrenia Legacy, Full Moon Guidance, Douchebag Safari, or Distracted by the Mona Lisa. These are all equally excellent songs, but that 6-song stretch in the middle is just so utterly compelling that it almost makes everything else kind of fade into the background in comparison. But in general on this record, it's hard to find any kind of real fault at all. Every instrument feels like it's been possessed. The string arrangements aren't just garnish, they're intrinsic to the drama. The horns and synth warp the genre boundaries like melting candle wax, and the guitar tones, they are serrated, grotesque and gorgeous. The rhythm section, particularly the bass, sounds like it's being played by somebody with a grudge against silence itself. Now, vocally, Carson Pace has never sounded more versatile or venomous. His screams have gained texture, his clean singing feels less ironic and more emotionally raw, and the delivery? Man, he just expertly walks that tightrope between snarling punk and avant-garde cabaret. He doesn't just perform these songs, he inhabits them. Lyrically, it's still unhinged, but now there's a deeper ache running underneath the theatricality. The absurdist humour hasn't gone away entirely, we're still getting surrealist word salads and weaponized sarcasm, but now it feels tethered to real grief, to real disillusionment. It's like the band has stared into the abyss, cracked a joke, and then whispered, "But seriously, this hurts." Whereas Celebrity Therapist felt like a band trying to prove they belonged in the upper echelons of modern heavy music, I Don't Want to See You in Heaven feels like a coronation. They are the moment. They've harnessed their chaos. They've written the best songs of their career. They've built a record that isn't just entertaining, it is necessary. Right, I don't have a lot to say here, so let's pad for time a little bit and try and look at this with outside eyes. Okay, so this is a challenging, chaotic dervish of an album. It is certain to raise eyebrows from people who prefer a calmer, more sedate pace to their music. This feels like weaponized chaos at times, filling in the gaps and answering the question, what if Fall Out Boy did a lot of drugs and stopped caring about what anyone thought of them? This is not sanitized music. This is raw. It is uncompromising and complex, both from a musicality perspective and from a personality one. The Daoboys are making the music that they want to make, and to hell with the rest of the world. There's really very little out there that is this confident and unashamed of itself, but this level of I don't give a crap might also come across as obtuse and self-indulgent by some. And to a certain extent, I don't disagree with that. Country song in reverse is especially discordant, feeling at times like a bunch of ideas crudely stitched together and sent off into the world. The transitions within its own runtime can feel angular and uncomfortable, but when you consider its context within the narrative flow of the album, this was the lost exhibit, the one that was recovered, and in a ways it feels like it is fractured and discombobulated with purpose and deliberate intent. It is as damaged as it needs to be because that is the point. I mean, sure, I get it if you don't gel with this song, absolutely I do, but taking a step back and appreciating how it's built this way to serve the concept of the album is a kind of sneaky genius I simply didn't expect from the Daoboys, but in hindsight I love it so much. Honestly though, I am really struggling to think of any genuine criticisms to point at I Don't Want to See You in Heaven. It took the things I loved the most from Celebrity Therapist and took it to the next most unexpected level. There's sounds on this album I never would have seen coming from the Daoboys, sounds I would have never expected from anyone this year, and they've made it work incredibly well and in their favour. So, what else can I possibly say about the Callous Daoboys' I Don't Want to See You in Heaven? This isn't just a great record, it's the kind of album that feels like it hit the next level of evolution in real time. It's like a caterpillar skipping chrysalis and diving headfirst into becoming a goddamned kaiju. The chaos I love is still there, the Mathcore blender still intact, but now there's something else. Control. These aren't just manic bursts of genre-jumping carnage anymore, they're movements, composed and deliberate, but no less unhinged. What's most striking is how mature this all sounds, and not in the they calmed down kind of way, but in a they learned how to weaponize their insanity kind of way. There's no genre whiplash for its own sake, each pivot feels earned, purposeful, like it had to happen that way. And through it all, there's this incredible sense of urgency, like the band had to make this album. It's like a primal scream they've been holding in since Celebrity Therapist turned everyone's heads. Now, it goes without saying that I cannot recommend enough that you grab a physical copy of this one. Celebrity Therapist was an album that said, we're here. This one says, we're staying. I Don't Want to See You in Heaven is an opus, a wrecking ball opera, a Maelstrom-made masterpiece. Album of the Year contender? Psh, hell, it might just be an album of the decade. This is all, of course, guys, just my opinion, so if you loved this one, if you hated this one, please talk to me about your experiences of the album in the comments down below. Please do drop me a thumbs up if you liked the video, please do tell your friends about little old me, and please do throw a subscription to the channel if you've been enjoying the content so far. But until next time, guys, as always, keep your rhyme signatures pretty odd.